evening. Our top story this week. In Kansas, the child protective industry reinstates the operating license of a foster care agency following the inspection into the death of a little girl in a hot car who was left there by her pot-smoking foster parent. A few people from Wichita are now calling for mandatory drug testing for all foster parents, which some are saying won't solve any problems. Then police in Garden City, Kansas arrest 2 people who were accused of abusing 8 foster kids over several years, but their bond is lowered when they make it to court. A local Kansas television station is investigating what the state has done to keep foster kids safe. And Kansas foster care agencies are concerned about all the bad publicity they've been getting from recent cases. In Florida, a family from Honduras reunites after 10 years when a kid makes it across the border, while a Miami immigration court starts fast-tracking deportation proceedings for some of these kids. And a plan to send some of these kids to New York is causing an uproar in one Long Island community. In New Mexico, the state is dragging ass in regards to setting up a child visitation program that they got a federal grant for 2 years ago. But they did alter their visitation policy after a mother takes off with her kids during a supervised visit when they were supposed to be in the bathroom. A grand jury in Florida is critical of their own report after the child protective industry was hailing their own improvements because they only heard one side of the story. And in Wyoming, 1 in 3 foster kids are on psychotropic drugs. In Nevada, CPS agents can't handle all the work they've been creating for themselves, and the state doesn't regulate how many cases a CPS agent can juggle. In Ireland, inspectors find that there are too many kids in foster care without a CPS agent assigned to them, and that they're waiting too long for services to help them return home or get the mental health treatment they may or may not need. And in Chile, the Catholic Church confirms that a priest stole babies to put them up for adoption. In New Jersey, a man is accused of killing his cousin and her foster daughter after the woman caught him taking pornographic photos of the 10-year-old girl. In Maine, a nurse loses the right to practice in the state for failing to report the injuries of an infant to the child protective industry prior to his death at the hands of his father, who was a sexually abused former foster kid on psych meds. And in Georgia, the number of child deaths is on the rise, even though the families had contact with CPS agents, with the number of kids who have died while in foster care doubling over the last year. In Australia, a former CPS agent is being sued for failing to protect 2 sisters from a sexually abusive stepfather, while the Australian government tries to deal with the abuse of foster kids after one caregiver allegedly raped 7 preschoolers. In Egypt, children are being sexually abused at an orphanage. And in Texas, a judge orders the removal of a YouTube video put online by a 13-year-old boy who wanted to expose the sexual abuse he suffered while in the foster care system. In Canada, an adoptive parent is facing charges after an infant is brought to the hospital with injuries consistent with child abuse. A woman who was on the FBI's 15 Most Wanted list for torturing children in her care is caught in a Portland, Oregon shopping mall. In Kentucky, a foster mother is arrested after store employees found 2 small children wandering around in a parking lot. And in England, 3 foster brothers disappear after going for a bike ride to Sutherland Park. In Mississippi, a judge blocks a couple from getting custody of their grandsons. In Kentucky, a family is protesting against social services in an effort to bring a 2-year-old girl home. In South Carolina, a mother who was arrested for letting her kid play at the park while she worked her shift at McDonald's is suing a television station for posting her personal info, including her social security number, on their website. And finally, tonight in Virginia, parents who lost custody of their kids after an unqualified medical diagnosis is suing the social workers who are responsible. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.